Right, let's talk about something that really matters: fairness. Recently, Optus, one of Australia's biggest telcos, has landed itself in truly hot water. They've just agreed to pay a staggering $100 million penalty, the largest of its kind in Australia's telecommunications history, after admitting to unconscionable conduct. So, what actually happened? Between 2019 and 2023, staff at least 16 Optus stores were found selling mobile phones and contracts to hundreds of Australians who were, quite frankly, the least able to afford it. We're talking about people with disabilities, those struggling financially, and Indigenous Australians, customers who, in many cases, didn't want or need these products at all. The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, the ACCC, led the charge against Optus. They found sales staff were using aggressive or misleading tactics, sometimes even telling customers a phone was free, or bundling products together without properly explaining the costs. It gets worse. There were cases where staff signed people up to multiple expensive contracts, even when it was clear they couldn't afford them. Some customers ended up thousands of dollars in debt for phones and accessories they never wanted or could even use. One story that stuck with me: a deaf homeless man was sold a phone and accessories he couldn't afford. Another customer, seeking just a $20 recharge, ended up committed to contracts totaling over $8,000. And in some stores, staff even falsified documents, using people's identities without consent, then passing those debts on to debt collectors. That's not just bad practice, it's heartbreaking. So what's being done? Optus has admitted fault and agreed not only to pay the $100 million penalty, but also to compensate affected customers. That means debt waivers, refunds, and a dedicated effort to make things right. There's also a $1 million donation set aside to help boost digital literacy in First Nations communities, which is a good start. Crucially, Optus will overhaul how it trains and pays its sales staff, so there's less incentive for dodgy deals. The ACCC says this penalty sends a clear message. Treating vulnerable people unfairly isn't just bad business, it's unacceptable and will have consequences. Consumer watchdogs and advocates are pushing for even tougher rules, so something like this doesn't happen again. It's a warning to all big companies: if you target vulnerable people or cut ethical corners, you will get caught out. For consumers, it's a reminder to ask questions, read the fine print, and know your rights, especially when something sounds too good or too complicated to be true. If this update helped you make sense of what's happening, please give it a like, subscribe, and follow Dastoons for more important news and analysis. Stay informed, stay empowered.